Hey, everybody. Welcome to Everything Philly Podcast, your platform for information, entertainment, and discussions on some hard hitting topics. I'm Sharice.
All right.
Welcome.
And today's topic is
So, it is 9:05. Parents, do you know where your kids are?
probably not.
Probably not. So, over the weekend, there was an organized meetup amongst kids, and they met at Temple campus. And needless to say, a whole melee broke out. Some shooting occurred, and it's been an ongoing thing all weekend. And as a dean at a local charter school, some of that spilled over into school today. Today was a mother sucker. We had so many fights in school today, stemming from the meetup, social media, and it was just a hot mess. It was Saturday at 5:30, 6 o'clock, so it wasn't even late. But my whole thing is, parents, do you know where your children are?
So how did that stem over to your school? Like,
Because some of our kids were there and they had feuds with some of the very kids that are in the school, and then we have schools around us. So we have siblings that go to our school, we have friends in another school, and it was just a big mess today. The whole he say, she say stuff posted from social media about this one and that one.
so what was the meetup about?
I don't know. No one really knows what the meetup was. It was just posted on social media that everybody is meeting up at Temple campus.
And they all
And
met up,
it was like about 500 kids.
and then that was Saturday,
And that was Saturday.
and then Sunday.
And no, Saturday, everything broke out in the crowd. Sunday, it was just crazy in the area because the tension was still there. And then it was Super Bowl. And then by them posting on social media and everybody don't see each other again until school on Monday, then that's where a lot of nonsense.
Mm. So, but from my understanding, watching news and all like that, and a couple of my friends are officers. They have a whole section in the districts that follows the media. So if you're following the media, then you hear about this going on. So you should be ready. It takes the kids just as long as it takes the cops to get together and get the temple and try to diffuse it before it happened. But I don't know. Phone, social media is always coming up with new gimmicks and all like this. So it should be something where as though on TV, you cleaning me like a baby. Oh my God, you
It
gotta
was
love her.
bothering me.
Gotta love her. It should be, they should come up with something where as though, because parents have phones just like the kids do. So your phone should be connected to your parents' phone, or the parents' phone should be connected to the kid's phone. And when you see some nonsense come out, you should get an alert.
Well,
And then if the parents don't respond to it, then they should be just as accountable as the kids are. I remember hearing something on the radio a couple of weeks ago when they said, should parents be punished for their child's activities? And I asked that going around, and a lot of people was like, yes, parents should be accountable for it.
yeah, because parents are letting these kids run wild. Like, I know that everybody has like a different situation, but for the most part, parents do not know where their kids are. They are not checking their phones. They have no idea what's going on for many reasons. You got parents that are working a lot, single households. You got parents that unfortunately are in the streets, so kids are being raised by like elderlies or extended families. And then you got parents who are living their life because they're young parents. So
I think that's the biggest issue nowadays. So many parents are still teenagers themselves, or they was teenagers when they had the
when they
baby.
had them,
So their relationship with their child is like a friendship relationship than a mother and son, or mother
yes,
and daughter, or father and son. So, and even kids try to, like my kids try to make me interact with them and their activities. I'm like, what I look like hanging out with y'all, running
hmm
around doing the stuff y'all do. I don't mind having family days and good times and all that, but I can't be running around the streets doing the stuff y'all doing. Like that's not my era. Like, and I don't even want to be involved in that. But I don't know if you can actually blame a parent for at what age do you stop checking your child's phone?
Well, these kids
Or
were 13 to 16. That was the age group. And then I'm at a middle school, which is sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. So I don't know through high school. I mean, personally, I feel like as long as I'm paying the bill,
Really? When you was growing up, you was 16. Your parents didn't.
I
You
ain't had
didn't
no
want.
cell phone. Stop trying to date me.
No.
It was a cell phone then. I had a beeper.
Well, even a beeper. Your parents wasn't monitoring your every move.
No, you're right. My parents weren't monitoring my every move. We didn't have like technology, but the monitoring of the moves was curfews. Certain time you had to be home.
How often did
Certain
you
time
follow
you
it?
weren't. I had to follow it. I didn't stop following it until I was a senior in high school. And at that point, I had my own car. I was working. I kind of was coming and going, but I still had to respect the home. So I still couldn't walk in my parents' house at beyond a certain hour. Nobody could come to get me, pick me up to ask, to go out. I couldn't leave the house by a certain time. If I didn't leave the house before a certain time, I couldn't go. So that was the monitoring. It was those curfews, it was those house rules. But kids don't have curfews anymore. They don't have rules and guidelines within the home anymore.
Mm. I mean, times is way different than when we was growing up.
It's
Like,
way different and times are even worse, which means that you need to be on kids' top even more so.
but that's kind of hard as well because just as well as time has changed, laws has changed. Like, um, politics, politicians has made things a lot easier for kids. Like it's so easy for a parent to get in trouble now, to lose your child or whatever the case, that parents feel restricted from doing whatever they really feel as though they need to do. Like,
Hmm.
so even though I believe what goes on in your house goes on in your house, but then you have situations where the kid runs to go tell a teacher at school, then teacher tell
Hmm.
DHS, and now your parent is in trouble for whatever. So parents kind of like fall back because they don't want to be in that limelight, the negative limelight,
Right.
for trying to discipline your child. So times is hard. Times is very. We took our dog to the vet, and my dog was acting out, and I smacked my dog to make it sit down, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna call the police on you." Like,
Yeah, you can't hit your dog. I know
times
you're
has really
frustrated.
changed.
Yeah. That's because of all the abuse and neglect that unfortunately kids were faced with. But I also feel like, and this is not for every case, but I feel like on average, if you start those expectations when they're young and they grow up with that being the norm and being just how it is, like we had expectations from young. So we grew up understanding that there's curfews and there's rules.
Yeah, but times have changed. Like times have changed
Yeah, but I don't
dramatically.
think I don't think the upbringing and the expectations should change because by them changing, look at the world now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You can't change it back. It's because a lot of young parents are being parents now. I mean,
Yeah.
they're parents. They are young. They're babies having babies. So they was raised a certain way, so they don't know no different way but to raise a child the way it is. Like they want to be
Right.
friends now.
That's
You
facts.
see sisters and mothers and daughters out, you think they sisters.
Hmm.
You
You're
see
right.
fathers and sons out. That kind of relationship is different than a mother and daughter for some reason. I don't know what it is about that, but life is different. Life is so different, and I don't know. I don't even think I have an answer for how we bring it back. I guess I do. Like it takes a whole community to do it. Like a parent can't do it on their own no more. Like people have to look out for other people's kids, and everybody have to look out for each other nowadays. I guess it is. You got to bring unity and love back, and I don't see no other way it's going to happen. Like you can't just sit here and tell parents you got to be stricter nowadays. Kids
Yeah, but
carrying
just
guns.
but the basics, parents, the basics. Like if you know your child has a cell phone and you're paying that bill, and I know it's harder when they're in high school, they're a little older, but this situation in Broad Cecil B. Moore, it was kids as young as 13 years old. That's seventh and eighth grade.
Okay.
So at that point, they're still moldable. They're still able to understand what the rules are if they're given rules, if they're given the guidelines. You're not talking about kids who 17, 18 and already have that mindset. We're talking about middle school
Well,
and the kid and parents. And I'm also speaking because I'm in middle school all day, every single day. And parents are sending kids to school because we are the babysitters during the day. Parents are not checking the phones because that the social media and the phones are keeping them occupied and keeping them out of their hair for the day and the night and for however long. So parents at some point are going to have to be accountable because they're quick to come up to the school when child runs home and says, Miss So and so said something to me or somebody is bothering me. They quick to come up and want to sue the school and want to fight. But where are your kids Saturday evening?
Well, maybe things gonna change because they did have that big sit down in the courts, whereas though Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of CEOs had to come face to face. Like, how are y'all monitoring this? Like, why so much stuff going on here? Do y'all know how much of an influence y'all are to these kids, to this world? And I think because of that, things are going to happen. But just think about how many kids that's 5 years old, 6 years old that have phones now.
Mm-hmm. That part too. Because
And
that's keeping them out of their hair. Like parents nowadays are lazy. They're
people are lazy,
lazy. They
period.
don't want to put the effort in to do what it takes. Parenting is not easy. And it takes work. It takes effort. And parents are lazy. So it's easy to give them a phone. And parents are also trying to give kids the lives that they didn't have. So yeah, they want to give them a phone, because all their other friends have a phone, and I didn't have a phone when I was younger because we couldn't afford it. So if I can give it to them, then they're gonna get it. Parents are getting caught up in the wrong things.
Do you think parenting is hard?
Yeah.
I mean, if you started at a young age and you do what you're supposed to do, if you pay attention to okay, my thing is, I really don't think parenting is really hard. It depends on where you at in life because, like you said, most parents they try to raise their kids through what they had or what they didn't have or what they wanted and whatever they dreamed of when they was a kid. They don't look at their kid as the individual person who they are. They look at them as their child. And this is what I want for my child. They never look at what their child need to become the person they are. So I
Mhm.
think if they started then, like if your child, what a child learns everything, what between the age of 1 to 4, like they soak up everything they see. They start developing their character, their mind frame at that because everything they see. But if you pay attention to your child at that age and you see where they're strong at and you build that life around that character, then that child could be something different. Then I don't think you have that many problems out of your child. But when you confusing a child, when you showing them all these things and tell them what he can't do, can't do, can't do, can't do, and the abuse that you go through in life and everything that's going on, and you just feeding them with materialistic stuff to show that you love them. I think life is hard as a child. But if you love your child and you raising your child as much as you love yourself, then I don't think parenting really is that hard because you won't lose your child to society.
Well, I think you said it because I feel like you can listen, you can love, you can do all of those things. I think the distraction and where it becomes hard is all those outlying things,
But you'll
society,
see it.
the pressure.
But you'll see it. If you see your kid, moving in the direction of this because they see it on social media, then you get in his head or her head at that time, and you don't say no, don't, no, 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 but you show them what's wrong with that and how that's not you, and you build in that person, that kid, for their strength, and it's a different.
I get it, and I guess for me personally, um, I feel like as a parent, I did those things. I listened, and I have one kid that is doing great. I think they listened to everything I said. They followed all the rules or whatever the case may be. And then I have another one that I thought listened. I listened and I thought
No, you didn't.
had it, but
No,
it
you
was
didn't.
it was different.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
You admitted that you dropped the ball a few places with your own. So don't sit here and
Oh,
say
I'm
you
not. I'm by
did.
no means
Listen.
saying that I'm perfect.
Oh no, okay. So don't sit here and say because you did this or your kid still turned out that way because you did what you thought was right at the time because you didn't know no better. You didn't understand. So you
Right, but
didn't
I'm
see the
saying you
signs.
could do what I'm saying is you can do all of those things. Like I felt like I did those things that you said. And one took off. I didn't have to do a whole lot. The other one is a constant push. So I didn't do too many things too much different in those formative stages. I think I followed those proper procedures and protocols in those formative stages. One took it and ran with it. One didn't.
What your favorite word is, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this conversation before.
Exactly.
And we've gone a little deeper,
Exactly.
but we're not going to go that deep here.
No,
But
because I'm saying don't send the wrong message out, because that is the wrong message. Because yes, you did your best as a parent that you knew, like you did the things that a parent really believe they supposed to do. But when it comes down to really being a parent, you got to really listen and understand your child before you put
mhm.
things in their path or what you believe is right for them. It may not be right for them. You could be a child loves a parent to death. So if they think they pleasing they parent, they go and do everything possible to do it until they can't take no more. And then they bust and decide to go their own way because it's just not working for them.
But my point in saying that was, and showing the differences between the two, is that it's not easy, because I had one, like I said, that took off without a hitch, and then I had another one that is a constant push. So it's not easy,
Well, that's raising a boy and a girl too.
which is super very, yeah, that's very different. But at the end of the day, I just feel like parents need to be more accountable, because there's no reason that we should have 500 kids meeting in a space that ends up in a shooting. Like, I don't get that.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I definitely agree with you. Like, we all need to start paying more attention to our kids. If we love our kids the way we say out we love our kids, then we should want way different lives for them in the future. Like, everybody can see the path is that our children is going down is a destruction. Is leading them but to
Mhm.
destruction. So if you want different, then we really have to make it different.
And sometimes loving your kids is like making those hard decisions
But you
that
can't.
hurt. But if you love them, then sometimes you got to make those hard decisions.
But you could do it in a nice way. You could do it in a way they understand, not where as though they feel as though you're punishing them.
Right.
And I think that's how a lot of us go by. We're punishing our kids without giving them understanding, without giving them explanation. So, if you really want to make your child life a lot easier, listen to them, talk to them, so you can have an understanding together, not on one side.
Makes sense.
So, children, listen to your parents. Parents, listen to your children.
Yes.
Communication, trust, understanding is key. Good enough?
That was a good one.
That
Yes.
was a good one. Why was a good one?
Because that was just weighing heavy on me. I just wanted to put that out there, that we as parents need to be more in tune with our kids. We need to, yes, check those phones, ask questions, where you going and who you with, learn who those friends are and the company that they're keep, and be aware of the whereabouts. Like, use that GPS location. And if they have a problem with you tracking where they are, then that should be a red flag that something's going on, something is not right. So that should be a move that you should make to figure out why you don't want to be tracked, why I can't know your location.
So let me ask you this question real quick, because
Yeah.
like I said, we always putting the blame on our children or whatever the case may be. How many parents actually understand where they're at in life? Like, we keep saying parents need to be more accountable for their kids. Like, parents need to be more accountable for themselves. Like, we are so in an era where we're trying to impress or live up to somebody else's standards. Like, I give so much props to like Wallow. Like, I seen one of his little clips on Instagram. He was saying like this is day 28 or something like that. He was like, when you going to stand up? When are you going to be proud of who you are? You're so much of a fan of everybody else's. You know they likes and they dislikes and everything. You know them way more than you know yourself. That was a very, very deep topic, because you have so many people that live in a life of a lie just because they're trying to impress somebody else or trying to be who they definitely know they're not.
Mhm.
What's the purpose of that? How can you be happy trying to be something that you know
Somebody
you're not?
else. Because they
When
don't
do
know
you
what happiness
stand up?
is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't. I really believe they don't. I really truly believe that people don't understand life. Not even happiness, life.
I agree with you. I think it's been so many changes, just so many world changes, so many societal changes, that people are just living. They surviving.
No, they surviving. They're surviving.
They're just
You got
surviving.
those that are living, you got those that are surviving. Most people are just surviving, and they are faking it like they're living. But it's like social media. You see things, Facebook, Instagram. You see such a beautiful life, but inside there is emptiness.
Mhm.
So before you know, you could take accountable of your child, then you really need to take accountable of who you are yourself,
Yep.
and then let's move forward. Then maybe we can help those, because right now our children may know more than we do. For some of us, they may more educated or in tune with what life is all about than we are. And then we try to manipulate them into thinking what's best because we're so
We're the
lost.
adult or we the
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's take accountable for ourselves, and then maybe our kids listen and follow us. But your kid watching you lead the road of destruction. You got, as far as the women, you got a different boyfriend every day coming to your house, and you're gonna tell your kid to be more responsible.
Or respectful.
Yeah, then your dad, the men coming in the house drunk, can't keep a job, out here hustling on the streets, but you're gonna tell your son to go to school and become something. Like, let's be accountable for ourselves before we can sit here and try to preach something. Let's practice what we preach.
Yep. Because whether you want to believe it or not, or you feel it's so, like you are your kid's role model. They see you every day, so they're looking and they're watching, and
They
yeah,
see everything.
they're sucking it all in. Whether they say anything, you may think that they don't know, they're not watching, they don't hear, they're taking it all in. And I had to learn that the hard way. So that's speaking from personal experience.
Yeah, so let's slow down a little bit. Stop trying to move this fast life and get it together.
Yes.
Uh,
And while you're getting it together, don't forget to tune in, like,
subscribe,
share,
follow.
make sure you comment. We love feedback. We love to hear your voice and your opinions on things. So keep those comments coming. Keep that feedback coming. We can only get better as you give us that feedback.
Peace out. Happy Valentine's Day.
From the one who doesn't like Valentine's Day.